It's hard to imagine, yet salt water is creeping straight into Earth's core beneath our feet. But how in the world is something like that even possible? Hello everyone! New scientific findings show that our planet is literally letting water pass through its layers, which is quite astonishing. Of course, it's nothing like rainwater that sinks into the soil in a few minutes flat, because this process operates on a far greater scale. Yet part of that water does end up making its way right into the core itself, which is genuinely astounding. Welcome to our channel. Let's dive in and explore every detail to understand it completely. Let's get started. The deep inner structure of our planet. Most people spend the majority of their lives in the zone where the Earth's three big domains, the atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere, all come together, often without even thinking about it. In reality, hardly anybody uses the word lithosphere in everyday life, even though it's there beneath our feet. We walk on the ground, not on something we typically call the lithosphere, so it doesn't come up in casual conversation. But if we stop picturing our backyard or city streets and instead imagine the entire planet while trying to reach its massive center, we have to think about a depth of around 3,965 miles. That figure is exactly the distance from sea level along the equator down to Earth's core, which is a staggering span by any measure. From the pole down to the Earth's center, that distance is around 3,950 miles, which is around 14 miles shorter if we account for the planet's flattening at the poles. In broad terms, our planet is divided into three spherical layers that vary hugely in thickness, each with its own characteristics. First is the lithosphere, the crust, spanning from around 3 miles thick up to nearly 50, which forms the planet's outermost shell. Next comes the mantle, extending a whopping 1,800 miles, making it the most substantial layer overall. The mantle is split into an upper and lower section. The upper mantle goes down about 418 miles to the transition zone, while the lower mantle reaches around 1,802 miles deep, where it meets the core. Then there's the core, which measures around 4,350 miles across in diameter. The core is also divided into outer and inner regions. From around 1,802 miles down to 2,548 miles lies the outer core, a special layer between the core and the mantle. It's this very topmost portion of the core, or the lowest part of the mantle, that has caught scientists' attention thanks to its unusual traits, intriguing researchers everywhere. Known as the E-prime layer, it was first identified back in the 1990s by geophysicists who used seismic techniques to distinguish it from the surrounding material. The E-prime layer is surprisingly thin, roughly 62 miles in thickness, and it forms a band that wraps around the liquid outer core. It's classified as the E-prime layer because seismic waves travel through it at speeds different from those in surrounding layers, revealing its unique composition. Thankfully, spirited debate over how this mysterious thin layer first formed is still ongoing among experts today. Some scientists believe it represents remnants of iron-rich magma, while another group maintains that it is material that seeped out of the inner core itself. Others propose it's debris from the massive event that created our moon, a collision of planetary scale that rocked the early Earth. But none of these theories can hold up against even slight criticism, which keeps the conversation lively. As a result, a newer idea has come into the spotlight, suggesting that two layers with contrasting physical traits collided at the boundary between the core and the mantle. In simpler terms, the superheated liquid core of iron and nickel meets the solid but hot material of the lower mantle, creating a point of direct interaction. Through the chemical interplay of these two drastically different settings, the E-prime layer formed, and minerals containing water get transported by convection and accumulate at that boundary. By the way, mantle convection, put plainly, is when uneven masses of rock with differing temperatures and viscosities slowly mix without pause, transferring material from the top of the mantle down to its base and then looping back upward again. A combination of scientific insight and lab work paved the way to solving this mystery, driving our understanding forward. Researchers decided to recreate the conditions in which the mantle and crust interact inside a lab, so they could watch the process happen in real time. They built a device called a diamond anvil cell and heated it with lasers, achieving the same extreme conditions found about 1,864 miles underground. Through this experiment, they discovered that when water reacts with the elements inside the apparatus, a membrane packed with crystals of that material and hydrogen atoms begins to form. That very membrane is responsible for creating the thin layer geologists had detected far beneath the Earth's surface, which was a huge revelation. In other words, the new theory shows that water molecules locked in minerals break down under extreme heat and pressure at the mantle core boundary, releasing hydrogen that then appears inside the core. Once hydrogen enters the core, it forces carbon out from that region, shifting the chemical balance. That expelled carbon then moves into the mantle, where it transforms into diamond under enormous pressure, adding to the planet's hidden stock. It's like a ready-made diamond factory under our feet, an incredible natural process. Because of these chemical reactions, a band of silicon dioxide with unique physical attributes formed, recognized by experts as the E' layer. This layer formed gradually over about 1 billion years and is thought to have appeared before Earth's dense inner core came into being. Even so, water continues seeping into Earth's center. Some of you might be wondering how the theory of diamond formation in the E' layer connects to the idea that water seeps into Earth's core, and that's a fair question. In truth, there is a very direct link, and it's more straightforward than you might expect. The discovery of how water seeps down via mantle convection stemmed from studying tiny inclusions trapped within diamonds, shining a light on the entire process. As a result, the notion that ocean water makes its way clear down to the Earth's core is no longer pure speculation in the scientific community. Experts built a model showing how water can journey into the planet's deep regions, providing insight into this surprising phenomenon. But where is the direct proof that pieces of crust can sink down about 1,802 miles beneath the surface, reaching those extreme depths? After all, any scientific hypothesis deserves recognition only if it's backed by evidence that can withstand real scrutiny. And calling for even deeper subduction would be senseless, given our current understanding of Earth's layers. That's because the boundary between the outer core and lower mantle sits about 1,802 miles deep, making deeper subduction impossible. Rock layers simply cannot sink any farther than that, so it serves as a hard limit. Slipping into Earth's scorching, ultra-dense core is impossible for such crustal fragments, based on every piece of data we have. Yet, if the world's deepest borehole on the Kola Peninsula only reaches a bit beyond 7 miles, how are we supposed to study the mantle and even the rocks at its bottom? In reality, despite a colossal amount of work, that borehole only managed to scratch the planet's outermost shell, offering a tiny window into Earth's interior. Right now, only science fiction writers can dream of a well reaching Earth's center, since it's completely beyond our present capabilities. This is where mineralogy and geochemistry come to the rescue, helping geophysicists and geologists push the boundaries of knowledge. These fields investigate material propelled to the surface by active volcanic eruptions or eroded remnants of ancient volcanic vents, yielding data on deeper layers. In particular, volcanic conduits known as kimberlite pipes, famous for producing diamonds, fall under that latter branch of geochemistry. Sadly, most minerals break down once they reach the surface because they encounter temperature and pressure far removed from what they experienced below. For instance, majorite garnet transforms into other materials like pryope or almandine when brought to the surface, shifting its structure. Even so, there is a small handful of minerals that can weather just about anything, standing up to the drastic change in conditions. Diamond is one of those rare materials, sturdy enough to persist in its original form. Diamonds aren't critical to scientists just because they're rare and dazzling, but because they endure in ways most minerals cannot. Right now, diamond research serves as a primary channel for learning about mantle rock and its chemical, mineral, physical, and other characteristics, plus the processes unfolding deep within. Also, diamond is so tough that it can encapsulate fluid inclusions, including hot water solutions, preserving them for study. Even more valuable is that because diamond is transparent, scientists can use Raman spectroscopy to inspect these inclusions without breaking the stone itself. In this particular instance, researchers found the key evidence while examining blue diamonds, pushing the investigation further. At that time, the diamonds that fascinated the scientists the most were the Type 2b blue diamonds, which possessed distinctive traits. They used Raman spectroscopy on these Type 2b stones and were stunned by the findings that emerged. For starters, the blue shade in diamonds stems from the presence of boron, which affects how light passes through the crystal. Boron is commonly found in the crust, yet it's practically absent in the mantle, making its presence in deep diamonds surprising. So how did it end up playing a part in forming vast numbers of diamonds that originate deep inside the Earth? Put more plainly, how did boron even get down to a depth of about 1,802 miles beneath the surface? As some of you know, the mantle contains only about 1% of the boron found in the crust, making that concentration puzzling. Scientists concluded that segments of the lithospheric plates, which surround the whole Earth, sank under other plates through subduction, carrying boron down into the mantle. Those plate fragments transported hydrogen from water along with boron, dragging both down into the lower mantle. Put simply, when tectonic plates collide and sink into the mantle, that process is what we call subduction. Most diamonds formed from carbon that was taken at least 656 feet down into the mantle by subduction, giving birth to countless precious stones. But researchers concluded that blue diamonds originated in regions significantly deeper than the boundary between the mantle and the core, which took them by surprise. The largest diamonds held inclusions that caught scientists' attention in an even bigger way thanks to their remarkable composition. For instance, selfless researchers were granted access to the famed Hope Diamond held at the National Museum of Natural History in Washington, as well as portions of the crystal that led to the world-renowned Cullinan Blue Diamond Cut. After analyzing these so-called deep blue diamonds, they discovered inclusions with high boron levels inside fluids that were altered by hot water, a striking find. On top of that, these inclusions showed partial traces of seawater that closely matched the chemistry of our planet's oceans. This is solid evidence backing the hypothesis that seawater actually makes its way down into the Earth's outer core, validating that once far-fetched idea. By integrating data from diamond inclusion studies with other research, scientists confirmed that water is carried by mantle convection to the mantle core boundary, creating that special E' layer loaded with silicon. It might be a bold step to label this phenomenon as seepage or outflow, yet it's fair to say that over millions of years, water molecules have truly reached Earth's core. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and share it on your social networks, spreading the word. We appreciate your support, everyone. See you next time. Goodbye.